Hi, it's Mike Torsha, and welcome to Live Well and Thrive. I have a very special guest, Kanya Sesser. We met at a fashion show that my friend Layla was holding, and I was just so impressed by her vibrant energy and beauty and attitude towards life. And I got to say, you really impressed me, and I wanted you to share who are you? Like, how did you become so positive, so full of love, and dealing with a disability?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And I just want to let you know, I don't feel like I have a disability. I have a disability and I know that, but like I don't feel like I'm disabled. And I feel like a lot of people in society feel like, if you lose something, and disability doesn't have to also be physical, it's also mental. And it's really important to understand what's comfortable for everybody that has what they have, and what if they were born with it, if they lose it. And I feel like it's just started off when I was just young. Like, I don't know, when I was a baby, I had a crazy story. So I was found on the side of the road when I was just a month old in Pak Chong, Thailand, which is 2 hours north of Bangkok. And Pak Chong is mostly all country, foreign uh, area where literally people own farms. There's like people are from the projects. There's slums. The buildings, everybody lives in huts, versus Bangkok where it's like all city and buildings and where there's more money going. Well, this is like a whole different area. It's like very spiritual, but also majority of them are Buddhism. And yeah, and so a woman and a man was going to the market one evening, and they heard a baby cry, and they was like, "What is that?" And like they came up to the sound of the crying, and it was a baby wrapped in pink blanket with dirty dust debris from the streets on the side of the road, with mosquito bites everywhere. And I could be dead or alive, but obviously I'm alive.
Wow.
And I think I was there maybe for a day or a few days, and they were like looking around to see like if anybody's around, and there was no one. So I'm guessing my birth mom, my birth dad, I don't know who, because I have never met any of these people before that are birth related or biological, came to claim me. And and no one had found me, and so they took me in and they called the police. But when they opened the blanket where I was wrapped in, they realized I don't have any legs, and they were looking under to make sure that oh, was she amputated? Because like in 1992, back in the day, well, even now, but more so back in the 1992 and back in the day, gangsters, or out there they call them like hood slumps, or gangsters from, I don't know what they do. It's like here, with everything else. They kidnap kids from their own family and amputate them or blind them or give them off of human drug trafficking and make money off of that. But thank goodness I was born this way, and I was not kidnapped, and I was not amputated as a baby, or, horrible things that they do everywhere. And so they called the Pak Chong Police Department to come and get me. And when they got me, they went to the hospital, and I was pretty much a star right there and then. Like, I was on the news because like they were trying to see who can claim me, and found out that I was probably born at home. And we don't really know what happened, but I just feel like, there's always like this sad, sappy story that everybody wants, but I feel like it's positive. Like, I feel like the angels or God or someone, like, I'm not like fully religious or anything like that, but like I feel like something was definitely protecting me. And I could be dead or alive, like babies are found on the side or in the dumpsters and in the trash, and they, they're hungry, and they die from starvation for being there for a very long time until somebody finds them, or they find, sorry, but
So
like,
no, that's okay. So when you were found,
uh-huh.
Was it just a regular couple that was walking by in the street?
It was a brother and a sister, and they lived down the street nearby. And then they own a market, and so they went to the market, and that's when they heard me crying. And so then I was just accepted into the hospital since September 13, 1992, and I lived there until I was pretty much adopted because they didn't. My Mei Chong, which is a nurse that was there, she didn't want me to go into foster care because foster care can be iffy at sometimes, and she wants me to be protected, and she doesn't. And since I was out in the news and I was famous, I guess that's starting my fame.
Well,
My fame, I guess, as a baby, she doesn't want me to get kidnapped because I was out. Well, she's like, I was like, why would I get kidnapped? She's like, because you're cute, and people out here, they'll do anything for money, and they will do anything to kidnap kids for money and whatever they do, and it's horrible, you know. But so she just kept me in the hospital, and then she found a home, a temporary home, which is pa and ta, like grandma and grandpa, and they're not foster parents, but they raised me until I was adopted at age 5, which is back in May of 1998, to a amazing family that I call now, and I feel like even if they're not blood, even if they're not biological, I feel like love is love. And someone shows you love, their family, and they show you what family is, and that's important.
well, they must have helped instill these amazing qualities in you because you're like this bright, shining light. Like the day we met at the fashion show, it was a little bit rainy, and there were some girls that kind of walked in, after I did, and they were miserable the whole time. They go, "Oh, I had my hair done, looks like shit." They were just like so upset. When I look at you, you're bright and shining and positive and overwhelming with this beautiful energy when they're complaining about their hair and you have missing limbs, and you have more positive energy than any of those models in that whole fashion show. I was so impressed. And then when you started telling me how you're this incredible athlete, you actually do stunts, you've been in so many TV shows, you surf, you want to ride on my motorcycle too. I mean, I was like, wow, because I was really impressed that you are like one positive dynamo. And like you said, you started off like a rock star and you're now an even bigger rock star in my eyes, and I'm probably with a lot of other people. So, what do you think gives you that incredible satisfaction or drive to keep up that positive attitude? Because sometimes, how people, after a while, things kind of wear at them. Oh, I wish I could run or I wish I could walk. What makes you be, you know what? This is what I was born with, and I'm going to ride the best wave I can with doing what I have. So, you said spiritual, was that part of it? Were the foster parents instilling some of this, or is this just genetically you?
You know what's funny? I have done so many interviews and podcasts, and people ask me, like, why are you so positive? And it's funny because, like, you know, I have my dates too. I'm not perfect. No one's perfect. We're humans, you know? There's days where I'm just like, F it, you know? But as long as, sometimes we have to fall to get ourselves back up because it's like checking yourself. And I'm 31, so my last 31 years, I have seen a lot of things. I've been through a lot of things. My best friend, I saw her dead body, OD'd and died, and that was during my like really like lowest times in Venice Beach. And I started out in Venice Beach, and I was skating every day and all that. But I had my moments where there were I wouldn't say dark days, but I think lessons. And I feel like lessons build us up and become stronger to where we are today. And I always had this strong mentality because my mom, she's like, when we got you, you were so stubborn and you didn't want help. And I have 2 older brothers. So I have, out of 3, I'm the youngest. And my mom has 2 birth child of her own, which is 2 my brothers. So I grew up with the boys. And but like I only had 1 brother that was athletic. The oldest one, Todd, he has a high autistic, like he's autistic. And my mom raised me and my older brother, who had to go to therapy well, she took him to therapy because, he prances and he thinks different. And I don't I'm understanding more about autistic people and because my brother has it. But like she's such an amazing, wonderful woman because taking care of me, my brother, and all three of us as well, it's not like she went to school to just like educate herself on people with disability, and she was a teacher. She's retired now, and she used to work with my dad. That's where they met, which is through work. They work with like baby's blood, and they work through doctors. And my mom, like, she taught me a lot of things, but I feel like also half of it was myself because I've learned to walk without legs on my own. I feel like I had to because, like, when you are born with without something, which is legs, and I always thought like I wasn't different. I feel like, I'm not different. I just don't have legs. And I look at these like girls and guys or everybody and kids and people like, like just like, oh, cool, they have legs and I don't, but look what I can do, And I think that's one of the reasons why I was popular in elementary school and middle school and high school was just like, there's kids that would look at me and just be like, why don't you have any legs? What, like, and they want to know, but I don't think it's wrong. I was just like, hey, I was born this way, but look what I could do. I can do push-ups, I can do handstands, and I show them what's up, and then they're like, wow, you're so impressive and you're so cool. And that's how I made friends. And I feel like, you got to show you your superpowers. I call them superpowers because like, I think everyone has their own superpowers, no matter what it is. And I feel like that's what's given the light that makes me so positive is because I know I'm a badass and I know what I can and can't do. But as long as I try, even though the things that I feel like I can't do, I tried, like soccer, I do it with my hands. I know it's like like touching, but it's like a different rules for me. And like I don't mind changing the game, And I think that's what's so beautiful and amazing is that you show these people that you do it your own way. And as long as you can do it, or as long as you try, and as long as you um just like, I don't know, like live your life and like just and just like go for it. I feel like people could just learn from you. People learn from everybody everywhere. And I feel like that's how we get you know, just new informations every day. And I feel like my stubbornness and the lack of help that I want, my brother wants to be that, big brother. We're like, let me help you. No, I got myself. He really want to be that brother, but I'm like, So him and I have a distance relationship, but
Well, that happens with brothers and sisters all the
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah.
But what I do understand now is because you don't look at anything that's with your body as a disability.
No.
You just look at your other strengths. Like I saw you at the other fashion show that was in Malibu on Sunday, and you hopped from your wheelchair so far across to sit in front to be on the pillow and landed on your hands and just got onto the pillow. I couldn't believe how powerful you were leaping from the chair and the power of your arms. I mean, they not only look muscular, but they're very, very strong. So I could see how you've adapted, and I think it's fantastic. And you're a beautiful soul inside and out. And I understand what you've gone through. Now I understand why you are what you are, is because you manifested this incredible power. And you took, like they say, lemons and made it into lemonade. Because I understand where you're now, because I can remember the one time when I was in a motorcycle accident, and man, I had crushed my hip and tore my rotator cuff and bicep. I was a mess. And it took me 3 years to be able to walk again because my body was such a mess. And all I did was learn how to move around without putting weight on one leg, and I couldn't use this arm. So I started cooking and I started doing all these things that I never thought I could do with one hand and one leg. So I know what you're saying. And I got pretty good at it. I'd have guests come over and they're like, no, let me do it. No, I want to do it. Because I adapted attitude. No, I don't want you to feel sorry for me. I can do it. And I got pride in doing it myself, even though I was hobbling around for all those months and periods of time. So I could see how you readjusted to it. But it's definitely genetic. I mean, even though you had this wonderful mom and dad, there's something in you that's just, I could tell in this driving force that's so innate that you're able to overcome anything. And then on top of it, besides just adapting, I mean, how many TV shows have you been in, movies? I mean, you got to share that too. And how you got into it.
Oh,
I mean, that's a whole nother thing. How did you actually get into, I know that, I think, what do they call it? The Paralympics, or how do they call it?
Paralympics, yeah.
Okay.
Paralympics mixed with the Olympics.
So did you say one day, hey man, I want to show everybody that I'm a badass? Is that what it was? You know? And then you segued it into acting, or someone approached you and say, hey, you want to be in a movie? How did it happen?
Well, I forgot to add this, but when you mention about like, how people can be like, oh my gosh, my hair, or like they're so miserable with like what's going on. People don't step back and just look of like, I'm alive. There's like a lot of people out here that probably really wish they could like be here at this event or go here or do this. I'm not going to complain about the smallest things because there's a lot more people that isn't like rough around the edges that can't even get out of bed and they really want to. And I think about like, I'm not comparing, but I'm just thinking like, at least I'm breathing, I'm healthy, I'm alive, I'm active, I'm meeting people and doing stuff. And I feel like, meeting people is number one. That's how I got my TV shows and movies. It's just like, I think it's also the authentic, like the authentic me, where I was skateboarding at Venice Beach, just living my life, like skating and just like having a good time. And someone came up to me and they're like, wow, like I was about to give up today, but then I saw you. Or like this mom was like, I just spread my daughter's ashes on the side of Venice Beach, and I just felt like I want to give up. But then I saw you smiling and going at it and skateboarding. I was talking to her for like an hour, and she's just like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. But she's like, I'm just so happy I get to meet you. So it's cool that I get to meet a lot of like authentic people and people that's just going through it. And I'm glad that I can make their day by, like never give up. And
But is that how you got into the entertainment industry? Or was it a dream?
No, actually, I never thought that I would be an actor or an actress or be in these crazy stunts. I was actually like a pure athlete, go to college, be in the Paralympics, win money, travel. I had a different lifestyle. I didn't realize that I was like I was like, I'm pretty. Thanks. But like, no, it started off with Dream Factory of Oregon. And before that, somebody came up to me and was like, you should be a model. And I was like, me? A model? Are you sure? Like, really? I'm an athlete. Like, I'm a sports person. I'm not going to be a model,
Yeah.
I had that mentality. And so Dream Factory, somebody from the Dream Factory came up to me as well. And so like, what's the 3 wish that you want? My first wish was like, I want a car. And I was 16 back then. And then my second wish was, I want to go to Hawaii. And then my mom stopped me right there. My mom, she's like, Kanya, you're going to go and have all these things. What do you want that impacts the rest of your life? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't know back then. And she's like, think about it and think about like what, like, the long run, like what's your dream in the long run that, all these materialistic stuff comes and go. And I was like, I'll be an actress or a model. And so like, they're like, okay, we'll set something up. And then I set up with the biggest photographer that they hired, the makeup artist. We did a whole portfolio. And after that, I started getting lingerie. Okay, so when I was 18, 19 years old, I started doing lingerie photo shoot. And it's mostly not like saying like, oh, sexist, like, oh, lingerie. It was more like, I'm comfortable in my body, I'm sexy, and I'm feeling good. And a lot of women should just like accept their bodies, because not all women accepts, their bodies. But I did. I was like flaunting myself and taking pictures of myself in bikinis, or, because I just love my body. And I didn't care that I don't have legs showing, this like authentic me. And so then after that, I started getting like calls for Nike, Adidas, Abercrombie and Fitch. I was recently at New York Fashion Week last year for Victoria's Secret. Savage X Fenty wanted to give me some stuff to take pictures of, and like Sweaty Betty, which is one of the biggest like brand names. And I just started like being around all these companies, and then I noticed that once I did that, a lot of like more women and brands are like coming out to accepting their bodies. And then after that, I don't know, but somehow I just like started getting like acting jobs. I never acted in my whole
Wow.
life. Like, you know,
And here are these women that do have no physical disabilities,
no.
study like crazy, go out on auditions, nothing. Then you like this wonderful whirlwind of energies out there. Just shows you the universe brings you opportunity.
Your personality,
Yeah.
who you are. How are you marketable? Like that's the thing. Like, and I wasn't thinking that at the time. I was just like, yeah, I'm down. Let's do it. So my first pitch was Hawaii 5-0, and they're like, "Can you surf?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I surf with Billabong, and I was surfing with Carver, and my big waves I ever surfed was like a 15-footer." And that was scary because I almost I almost drowned when I hit that like one little thing. But like it was fun. It was just down in San Onofre, kind of like by San Diego area.
Yeah.
That's one of the best areas to go surf. I used to be a surfing bum. Nah, not anymore. But like surfing is a lot of energy and a lot of work. But they wanted me to because there was a character that lost her legs through in Iraq when she was driving through a bomb, and she was the only person that lived, and it was Rosie Valera in Hawaii 5-0. She was the best friends of Kono when they were in high school, and they won many different surfing awards and championships. But Kono feels like she was kind of betrayed by her own best friend, kind of like, you know, I'm a badass, I won, so many look at me, look at the trophies. And then she, after she lost her legs, she became paralyzed. She became like paralyzed mentally, but also amputated, and like she just felt like giving up. And that was a very hard role because I never lost legs. I never lost anything. So I don't know what that's like. And I never been a war veteran. And like playing this character, sometimes playing a character that's totally the opposite of you is very complicated because it's like, oh man, I have to think about this character mentality. She's a drug addict, she's an alcoholic, and she just wants to give up the world. But she was a famous surfer with Kono. So I'm all like, okay. So we had to study the lines. I studied all these lines, and I had to be in a vulnerable state to be this character. And it was a tough role. But I have another tougher role that I'm going to be filming in Canada and California and out in Europe in August, called The Keeper. I'm allowed to say this because we already pitched it, but The Keeper, we already have a couple millions of dollars to pitch in with this movie. So like, The Keeper, I've been helping writing the script for 3 years now.
What kind of movie is it?
It's a thriller romance movie. With Jack. So I play Ruby and play alongside Jack. And Jack and Ruby doesn't get together or anything like that. But there's a thrilling like thing that comes up with the story of why Ruby, you know, is the way she is. How she lost her legs, and she's a boxer, and she just has all these anger built up because, well, I don't want to say it because, you know, but like she lost her kids in a car accident, her boyfriend, toxic boyfriend, and she finds out later on like who that was. And it's a whole long story.
And you're involved in writing it also, right?
Yes, I am.
Wow.
My own character. I'm involved in writing in my own character, Ruby, because Ruby, you know, like I'm playing this character. And so I kind of had to switch it up a little bit, kind of give the insight. And yeah, working with Greg Masak, who is one of the biggest director and producers out of London. So I'm really stoked. And he just finally have his house in Palm Springs so we can start, come on, like wrapping this up, getting this movie started so I can just like film. And I feel like filming, now that I was in Cold Black, stunt for The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead.
Oh, The Walking Dead, when you had the I think the prosthesis
yes,
on. That was scary. You look really scary.
Thank you. It took a long time, and they were and they're so amazing because they want to make sure I'm comfortable because I do deadly stunts. Like I was hanging in front of a semi truck going 45, 50 miles per hour. And I do dangerous things like, you know, before.
That power in your arms.
Oh,
damn.
yeah.
I can see why you could be hanging on all day.
Yeah, but they want to make, they're so amazing. Like The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead, AMC people, they're such an amazing, incredible people. They made sure that I was okay. They weren't like, you know, like, hey, do this and make sure you do that. And who cares? No, they made sure I had a trailer. I was good. I was everything. And they made to make sure that their stunt are really good. So
Wow.
so yeah, and then we just like, okay, so we're thinking about putting a harness where it kind of grabs you when you kind of like hang in front of a semi truck. And the actors were like, I was so nervous, I might run you over. I'm like, it's okay. But no, it's really strong. They make sure that like it's drilled onto the front of the semi truck. And we trained for a whole week before we even like filmed it. So it felt good. We're okay, cool. I'm not gonna die type of thing. And like just in case something happens, obviously they had a truck with the cameras in front where they kept going. And then in case I fall off,
Well, that, so funny is the stunt coordinator must have been paranoid because
they were
I did stunts for a period of time, and one of the movies that was notable was Batman Forever, and it was with Nicole Kidman and who played Batman at the time, Val Kilmer, and I was doing stunts in the ballroom scene, and I was supposed to be part of the party that was going on for the celebration, but the Penguin was planning something really nasty there, and a bomb goes off in the ballroom. So I'm on the stairs, and it's supposed to be where this girl goes flying in the air, and I catch her, and I tuck, and I roll down the stairs. Well, I understood the what was the scene, but because the suit they gave me, it didn't. I was very big at the time. I was very muscular. I didn't fit in the suit with the padding because there were shin guards and thigh guards and over around the chest too and crotch area. They had these like pads because when you get hit by flying body like that, because she sprung off of a trampoline to fly in the air because it had to be like an explosion in the nightclub scene. Well, I just fit. Heck, I'll just deal with it, right? Well, that was a big mistake. So she flew up in the air. I caught her. Her high heel dug into my shin and sliced it. Now I'm rolling down the stairs and I'm hitting the hardwood stairs, right? I was getting all banged up. But what was so funny was Joe Schumacher was a director. He loved it because I was bleeding and the grimace on my face, but I made sure I protected her. So that's how the scene ended. He goes, fantastic, great job. And then he looked at me and I was really bleeding because he was like, hey, there wasn't supposed to be blood in this scene, but that was my leg. And I was all, and then he said, wait a minute, you don't have any padding. I said, well, they didn't have time to give me another tuxedo. And he just laughed. He goes, because he said, with all your muscles, you look like you had the padding on. I go, no, that's my muscles. So what's so funny was I did that scene. It was fantastic. But I'll tell you what, I took that one for the team. I made sure when I fell, I protected this woman because my whole thing was she's not going to get hurt. But in the meantime, my back was all black and blue and purple. But I got to tell you something, I did have fun, but I realized that's a whole nother thing. And you never got trained for stunts. And so you're learning on the job.
mm-hmm.
So I got to tell you something, my hat's off because it shows that you're a fast learner and you got guts. I mean, seriously, to be able to tractor trailer hanging in the air. I mean, but it just shows who you are.
Yeah.
That's what's instilled in
I think it's really, you should tell, because like I think it's really important that you should tell, because like, God forbid, one incident could ruin your career forever, especially like if you broke something or God forbid something happens. You really want to make sure that you're like safety. So ever since I was young, like ever since I was doing all this, I want to make sure. I don't care about the money. I don't care about like, what it is. I want to make sure I'm okay, because that could ruin my whole entire career if, God forbid, something happens.
Well, and the point of that is the last time I did a stunt, I was asked to do a commercial to play an executive with Natasha Case where I'm walking out of a room into a balcony and I'm distracted because I'm on the phone and I fall over the balcony. Okay. But I'm holding on to the Samsonite bag, whatever it was. That's what the commercial was for. So I was used to doing some burns and falling out of a second-story building. I never did a third-story fall. So they offered me $50,000. And at the time, I didn't have much money. So I was like, oh, my God, it's game-changing money just for the one stunt. That's it, fall once. Didn't have to do twice, just once. I went to my friend that trained me. He was a stunt coordinator, and he goes, Mike, all you have to do is step just by a fraction of an inch too soon or too late, and you're going to break your neck. He goes, Mike, I would turn it down. So sure enough, I turned it down, and they got a friend of mine to do it. Today, he's a paraplegic. He blows in a straw. I got to tell you something. He did exactly what I could have done. He mistimed it just by a fraction of, I think, a split second, and he just hit the building, and he now blows into a straw. So that's when I said, I will never do a stunt again. My warning was when I fell down those stairs.
Yeah.
But then the very next job, they were like, hey, we heard you're a madman. How you want to do this stunt, you know? And you got to remember, when you sign that waiver, you have no recall.
No.
You're not going to get a dime.
I had to sign waivers.
Right? You know, so that is the thing that I share with people when you're doing stunts. Be aware of that at any moment, something could happen and it'll change your life in a very bad way. So that's why I'm glad I did stunts, but I realize what stunt people go through. And a lot of the stunt guys that I hang out with and stunt women, all they did was compare, hey, I broke this arm 3 times. I shattered my knee. All they did was, like, when we hang out, we just show their scars. You know, I was dating this one girl, and so she took her clothes off. She was showing me all the different surgeries she had. I was like, oh my gosh, she looked like Frankenstein. I mean, because all this scars and everything. So, you know, please be careful. But I know you know what you're doing, but please, you know, you're so precious, you know? Be careful.
I do the same thing. I make sure, that's what I'm saying. It's not like I think about myself before anything else. I'm thinking logically, does this make sense? And I don't want to, like, again, I said, I don't want to risk my life and myself. Yeah, once you sign that waiver, you sign the waiver. It's like selling your soul.
Yeah. No, but there's all these other things you deal with. There's the skateboarding, the surfing, you know.
I just do it right there and then. And that's always been my mentality with skateboarding, with sled hockey. I have a monoski, a $10,000 monoski that I go up on the monoski. I'm still like figuring out the outriggers, but it's you know, it's still like one of those things where I'm risking myself, and God forbid I haven't broke any knock on wood. But like but life is a risk. But you don't know unless you do it. Like with I'm not saying like be stupid, but I'm just saying like you have your own judgment of what you feel comfortable and what you don't feel comfortable. And the most important thing is like be open about it, be communicative about it. And sometimes I had to turn down a stunt that I'm like, dude, this seems a little kind of gnarly and it doesn't make sense. And there's like, is there any harness? Like, you know, with the situation with like, you know, cowboys, you know, fake guns, shit. Like it's scary.
Yeah.
It's scary. It's a lot of risks and things where like you got to think about things before. I used to be like, okay, yeah, put me on. Let's go. Let's do this. Because I'm a go-getter. But I realized to come think of it, be like, oh, wow. Yeah, I'm doing this actually on the job. Like, I don't even know what the heck we're doing. And I don't know till I get there.
But here's the thing is, you're also, it's not just you.
No.
You're relying on other person or people.
Yeah.
Now, look what happened with Alec Baldwin. There were real loads in those guns, in several guns, not just the one he shot the director with.
Remember that.
Okay, so look at Bruce Lee's son.
Yeah.
Okay, then properly did, you know, they had the explosives. So well, they had him turned the wrong way and they killed him. Okay, so now here's a person that's from the armory, supposed to know what they're doing, and the girl was distracted. She was partying the night before, whatever the excuse is. There's no excuse for using live rounds on a set of a movie, because I guess they were using the gun for practice and had real live rounds. No. So that's what I'm saying. You always have to make sure whoever's the one that's putting the harness or doing all the safety things know exactly what they're doing, and everything's been double checked, because God forbid they don't do their job. You're going to pay for it.
Yeah.
And that's why, I care about you and I want to see that you thrive.
Definitely,
maybe do less dangerous
Actually,
things.
I did film Freak Show, and it deals with I was a secret agent, and like it involves with a fake gun, like one of those like fire guns.
Yeah.
Like not,
starter pistols.
Yeah. And I was like, dude, make sure like this is not, but it was really scary. And it was scary because it was like after that Alec Ball thing. So I'm like nervous and then everything's good. But like I had to make sure and I want to, like, it's scary. Like like whatever jobs that you do, whether it's on set, whether it's stunt, yes, you got to be really careful. And luckily, thank God, The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead, we're done with that.
Yeah. Thank God.
So there's a lot of episodes, but like I loved it, what I do. And to be honest, I'm really glad that I did it and glad that I got to experience all of these amazing stunts. And for future, when I do stunts of my own, of like for my acting and all that stuff, because I'm an actress, but also do my stunts. I always make sure that like it's safe because like I think it's self-explanatory itself. Like you should make sure everything, like you talk to everyone, like make sure and they just, hey, let's practice, Well,
but I'm a Virgo, meticulous. So if I was doing a stunt, I would make sure I walk over and go, okay, we got this under control, with the timing and everything, because it's all timing too with doing stunts. I mean, whenever I would do stunts, the stunt coordinator would go over, your timing is everything, and the timing has to be the same for each time. Otherwise, if you miss your mark, there could be a problem. But I'm glad, listen, don't want to dwell on it. I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
And, our time is up here, but I want to thank you for coming on. And I'd love for you to come back, when you get closer to that movie and share more about the details, who you'll be working with, when you'll be shooting. And maybe we can come out with a camera crew and catch you in action, right? Watch you doing your thing,
I'm really stoked. Thank you so much. My book's coming out.
And a book too? You've got a
book. My third board's coming out. I actually have a board for you next time I see you. But like I have my one of my pro model decks for you guys.
Great.
And I can't tell my other secret, unfortunately, until September, but it's a big deal, and I'm really stoked that.
Well, I'm excited.
Yeah.
And where can I get the book? Is it going to be out on Amazon or?
It'll be out on Barnes & Noble, Amazon. You can order online, but I'll let you know when. We pitched it, but we've been writing it for 5 years because we want to get it all together. So
I'm excited.
Really stoked, and I have 2 skate competitions. So. You're a busy
things. Woman.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right. Well, I want to thank you for tuning in and watching our show, Live Well and Thrive. And please subscribe. We need your support. Thanks for watching. Hey, thanks for watching this episode. Got great news. The merch is ready. You're going to see an array of all kinds of great products. Go to operationfitness.com. If you want to order anything, click on my store. Thanks for your support.